This is Tomo News for Monday, March 6th.
How will Donald Trump build his border wall? Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump boldly declared last summer that he would build a great wall along the border between the U.S. and Mexico, and that nobody builds walls better than him. Months later, Trump continues to stand by these claims and insist that Mexico will pay for the wall's construction. According to engineers, for Donald Trump's proposed border wall to be effective, it has to be at least 20 feet high above ground and stretch 5 feet below ground. Trump told MSNBC in early February he was envisioning something between 35 to 40 feet tall. In terms of building material, cinder blocks are readily accessible and they would make a sturdy wall. However, stacking each block one by one is labor-intensive. Casting liquid concrete into formwork along the border is another option, but walls made this way are usually weak when they solidify in dry, hot environments. Lining up precast concrete panels and reinforcing them with steel is the most plausible option. The wall would look like a large version of concrete highway walls. By multiplying the wall's price per square foot by the number of miles the wall would cover, Trump estimates that his wall will cost around $8 billion. His calculation does not include construction costs, the cost of building on different terrain, as well as the cost of buying private land. Factors like these could cause the price to be upwards of $15 billion. So, it's a good thing Mexico is footing the bill. But Mexico may not have received the memo. A few weeks ago, former Mexican President Felipe Calderón reportedly said that Mexicans are not going to pay and receive the memo. A few weeks ago, former Mexican President Felipe Calderón reportedly said that Mexicans are not going to pay any single cent for such a stupid wall. Target bomb plot foiled. If convicted, suspect Mark Barnett faces a decade in federal prison. His alleged crime? Planning to bomb 10 Target stores across the U.S. East Coast, from his home in Florida all the way to New York. The feds say that Barnett allegedly paid a man 10 large to do it for him. He gave the guy 10 bombs, gloves, as well as a mask and a license plate cover to hide his identity. Barnett's alleged endgame was to buy cheap Target stock, theorizing it would tank after the bombings but eventually bounce back. Barnett, a registered sex offender, disguised the bombs in food packaging and wanted the man to plant them in stores. That man called his probation officer, who in turn alerted law enforcement. Investigators in turn wired that same man Barnett hired and used him to get more info. They raided Barnett's home and reportedly discovered M5000 explosives, rocket igniters, and batteries for the devices. Barnett is currently detained in Marion County Jail on parole violations.
Gunman crashes wedding. A church wedding in Brazil was thrown into complete chaos after a gatecrasher opened fire on guests during the ceremony. The horrifying incident began as the bride and groom walked down the aisle, unaware that a casually dressed man had been following behind. The man made his way to a pew and reportedly called out to one of the groomsmen. Reaching for a gun, he then blasted the guest and his father before walking away. The two men were injured but are now recovering. A woman, believed to be the groomsman's wife, was also grazed by a bullet. Authorities are still looking for the wedding shooter and have yet to determine a motive. Reports suggest, though, that the attack may have been an act of revenge, as the groomsman was the main suspect in a murder.
Texas man charged with making love to a fence. Run out of humans to get with, or even homemade pies to violate? A strange fellow in Austin, Texas may have just what you need. A chain link fence. Ooh, that's hot. On March 1st, 32-year-old Eliodoro Estala was taking a leak in his yard when his neighbors spotted him and started recording on her smartphone. Realizing he was being filmed, Estala stripped off his clothes, put his mouth through the fence, and pretty much went to third base on it. He then took his lust to the next level, sticking his erect penis through the chain link fence, gyrating those hips like a jackrabbit. Offended, the neighbor reported his lewd behavior to the police. When they arrived at his house, he appeared intoxicated. Estala was booked on a misdemeanor charge of indecent exposure for engaging in the intimate act with the now defiled inanimate object. That poor fence will never be the same again. Male virgin mice prefer watching fights to sex, but like drugs more. Researchers in Japan studying the behavior of 40 male virgin mice found that the subjects preferred watching footage of other mice fighting compared to erotic videos of mice mating or videos of mice sniffing. The researchers played footage of mice having sex on an iPod for the lab mice to watch, along with the footage of mice fighting each other and of mice sniffing randomly. The scientists also gave the mice morphine. They found the mice preferred the rooms with the drugs, no matter what videos were playing. Then, they put the same virgin mice into a cage where the mice could choose to watch the iPod playing footage of mice sniffing or mice humping each other. They compared this with the amount of time the subjects spent watching mouse-on-mouse violent or rodent erotica. In the first, spent 40% of their time watching mouse fights and 35% of their time watching mice mating. In the second exercise, the mice spent 41% of their time watching sexy mouse videos and only 34% of their time watching mice sniffing. Twitter user Kevin Daly wrote, "When it comes to mouse erotica, I'm guessing mice are more into doing than watching, and I have some sympathy for that attitude." Koenig at the University of Zurich said it's unclear if the results of the study actually show a preference for watching violence. She said it might just take the mice longer to figure out if the video of fighting mice is a threat to them.
Flagging economy forces red light district to slash prices. In Japan, the weak economy is forcing many businesses to slash prices. Shinzo Abe's economic program, nicknamed Abenomics, seems to be failing as Japan's economy has fallen back to previous lows despite his government's best efforts. Businesses in Tokyo's red light district, Kabukicho, are also slashing prices and flashing red warning lights as they struggle to keep afloat. The cost of a blowjob, originally $75 has continued to drop in price until it hit an all-time low this month. So now you can buy a 30-minute blowjob for just $15 Women working in the red light district says that sometimes they struggle to earn $100 a night. After all, when money gets tight, it's always the luxuries that get cut first.
Women detained in connection with the murder of North Korean dictator's brother. Malaysian police detained a woman holding Vietnam travel papers on Wednesday and said they were seeking other suspects in the apparent murder of Kim Jong-nam. State news agency Bernama reported on Thursday that the elder half-brother of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un was attacked outside the immigration checkpoint area at Kuala Lumpur International Airport. One woman reportedly sprayed chemicals on the face of Kim Jong-nam before another woman held a cloth over his face for 10 seconds. Kim asked for help and was taken to a medical center where he was on the verge of passing out and had a mild seizure. The suspects include 2 women and 4 men. Malaysian police detained a woman holding Vietnam travel documents on Wednesday. A second woman was detained on Thursday. North Korean officials objected to an autopsy on Kim Jong-nam's body, but Malaysian authorities refused the request. It's not yet clear if the body will be handed over to North Korea.